Welcome back to Share. We still have Nono with us from SADC, and she's joined by Sfiso Malebie, who is here to share his personal experience with bullying. Thank you so much for joining us, Sfiso.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I wanted you to share your personal experience with bullying, because for you it was over a very long period of time.
It started from the first day I went to school. You know, I was the shortest guy in the school. In the first grade, my feet couldn't even touch the floor. So that's when they targeted me. You know, it was physical and also emotional because they were name calling. They gave me nicknames. They were physical because they were like bigger than me. Yeah, so it really started from there. It also went from home. It also went home. You know, my siblings are bigger than me. So when you get that at home, it's difficult to speak when you're from school and you're being bullied at school, because you're also being bullied at home, you know. And then I thought it was fine because I'm short. So when they bullying me, they saying, hey, you short stuff. And then they call me names at home, they call me names at school. So I thought, okay, it's normal. Yeah.
So now what made you pick up that phone and call SADC, or even think that you wanted to get help now?
Okay, because back then, things were not so advanced as now. There were no people like us, no here. We just let things be. But then it became worse when I had to go to work. I grew up and then I went to work. I struggled finding a job because of the height thing. You know, they would say, hey, you look young. And then at work, it was just so bad because you're the shortest guy, you're the littlest. You just have to do everything for them. You go fetch water, you finish up their work if they are left behind. So I got sick and tired. I actually quit my job, and then things just went from bad to worse, and until I was referred to SADC by a friend, and then that's where I got help.
You told me that it had gotten so bad at work that you were actually having suicidal thoughts.
Yes, because you're being bullied by your boss, you're being bullied by your managers, by your colleagues. Like, everyone just sees you as just that little guy, you know. And the name calling as well is bad, you know. I actually asked myself, why am I short? Because I'm firstborn, and then I've got 5 siblings behind me. They're all taller than me. When I'm with them, I'm like the last born at home, you know. So everyone is like teasing me. It really kills me. It really killed me, and I said, okay, fine. There's nothing I can do about my height. So it's better to end my life, because even my personal life, my love life, everything was just affected by this whole thing. So I just decided to end it until I was referred to a friend to SADC.
And you've been working with him, Nono. You've been working with him. What was the first thing you had to do with him? Because whether a person can achieve or not has got nothing to do with their height. It doesn't matter how tall or fat or thin that you are. It doesn't take away from your abilities to do your job, to be really great at school. So what were the first things that you would have to start doing with him? Because from what I'm hearing, it just seems as though by the time he came to you, there was no confidence or self-esteem.
Not at all, not at all, not at all, because at some stage we were done and he couldn't stand up and go home. And I said to him, you know what, you are short. There's nothing that you can do. You'll never grow, even if we can pour water on top of your head every day, or even if my son will say, Mommy, you are short, cut your knees and get a bone extension. And I told him, even if we can do that, you are not going to be tall. We're actually going to kill you, because the minute someone cut this part, blood and everything will come spitting. And I started laughing, and I said, oh, that's what I wanted to see. And I said, you know what, you are unique in your own way. You are your own person. So today you're going home, you're going to do your homework. What Sifiso wants to do, because we have to get back you have to get your life back. And then Sifiso go home. The next session when he comes back, he say, you know what, I want to find employment. And I said, we are going to take you step by step. And there are so many projects that are happening in Diepsloot. We also have the Karikuda, whereby by next week, he will be going for an interview in the Karikuda thing, you know. And I said to Sifiso, you know what, Karikuda is dealing with the adult education. Older people will treat you with respect more than anyone else because they want you to teach them what they didn't get when they were young. There are some people that cannot even write their names. It's difficult to even open an account because you can't sign.
But what you say to me, I want you to say what your surname was, because it's the first time that I've heard a surname like yours.
My surname is Malibie.
And you know what? I had said to him, you know, it's the first time I've heard it. And he was like, yes, it's very unique. And I'm thinking that would, you know, if I'd met you probably beginning of last year, you probably would not have said that about how unique your surname was, because that says to me that some confidence has been built. How do you feel, Sifiso?
I actually feel great because I came to terms with my height. You know, at first I thought it was a disability, but then they made me realize that there are people born without legs, there are people born without arms. You are fully equipped, just that you did not have enough height. So I believe that people who are being bullied do not accept themselves, because people who are targeted are those who stand out, whether that person is big, is fat or thin, and then they don't accept themselves, they become self-conscious. So they like asking to be bullied because they would behave like in a way different than other people, you know.
No, I want to ask you though, because from when I hear this story, bullying isn't even about the height. I think a tall kid would get bullied because that would be the target, and that would be the excuse of he's too tall, you know, and kids are bullied for different reasons. People in the workplace are bullied for different reasons. So when he's talking about, you know, it sounds to me like for him that the height was a really big problem. But under any other circumstances where the family had been very supportive of who Sifiso is as a person, if school had been supportive of who Sifiso is as a person, I don't think that he would have the hang-ups about his height that he does. It's because people pointed that out.
Yes. And the minute someone points something about you, you end up saying, you know what, I am short and I am going to hide myself. And when you hide yourself, that's when now you start losing everything and feeling worthless, you know.
Sifiso, what are you saying about yourself now? Because you sound like, you know, you're becoming the person that you're supposed to be, which wasn't the scared, want to hide myself person. What are you saying about who Sifiso is now?
Well, what you see is what you get. I can't change it. I've accepted it. I came to terms. I'm in love with who I am now. And it just makes me happy.
And that's amazing. That's really incredible. You're doing a great job. You can see it. I want to ask you, Nono, there are different forms of bullying, because in our first segment, we really talked about kids that are in school, and we didn't even finish speaking about that. We ran out of time. And now we're talking about, you know, with him, it's been going throughout his school career. It's happening at work. People get bullied at work a lot. What are the other forms of bullying that you see happen? Or the
one that is now on the line, it's your cyberbullying.
Really?
SMS, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp. I can tell a lie and it runs the whole world. And if they did that to you, remember on Facebook you have your picture or you have your number, people recognize who you are. And how are you going to face the world? You can't even go to shops. You can't even go to school. You can't even go to work. Because the minute you enter the school, it's like, there she comes, you know, that laugh. That sneaky, poisonous love. Even at work, that here she comes. You know, it's so bad. It's so bad. People end up killing themselves with being bullied. It's very
online.
Online.
Are you finding that people are phoning SADC and talking about some of the cases?
Yes, they phone a lot. They phone a lot.
I want to ask you, Sfisa, though, for somebody who is going through what you went through now, what would you say to them?
They should stand up. They should stand up for themselves. I'm not saying they should fight back, because violence is not a solution. They should report these cases. They should talk and then just voice out their grievances. Because for me, I did nothing. I just let it happen because I thought it was the right thing to do. So people who are being bullied, they should report these bullies and then try to get help. They should be confident, because the moment you lose your confidence, you just invite them to bully you.
And I love what Sfisa said. He said, now I'm in love with myself. Yes. That's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
How does that make you feel? Because I think sometimes as a counselor, you might be doing all the work and thinking, does it have any impact? You know, and here's somebody you've been working for, you said 3 months. And it already sounds to me, for somebody who's had over 20 years of bullying happening to them, for him to sit here and say that he loves himself and that it just sounds so much more positive. What does that mean for you, Nono?
It makes me to feel good, and it makes me to grow as a person and as a counselor, you know. I think since I started working in Deep Sleuth, I have grown so much as a person and as a counselor.
What would you want people to know about this, Nono, as somebody that's dealing with this, with cases like this on a daily basis?
I want people to come out. I want people to report it. We will never stop it like today or tomorrow, but we have to try and minimize it. It has to come from a person and say, you know what, it stops right here. My boss, you have been bullying me. It ends here. So even if it means you have to call the whole church choir, call the church choir, get your life back. And I want to say to the bullies, we also want to help you as a bully, because a person does not jump today and say, you know what, I am going to be a bully. Somewhere, somehow, you were pushed to be a bully. Come out also. Let us help you.
Sfisa, I want to ask you, for the people that you were working with, I think some of them might not even know the impact that they had in your life. They might not even know that the way they were pushing around almost led you to taking your own life, because that's how severe it was. So for people that may think it's a joke, they think it's funny, you know, that we can call that person short, or we can call this person that, because it's the workplace and, you know, they might not be taking it seriously. I would like you to speak about how it impacted your life and what it really meant for you.
I hated being short. And then I hated being a boy, because I thought if I could have been a girl, I would buy high heels and my height would actually be a bit more higher. It really kills a person. It breaks your spirit. You cannot focus. You're thinking, I'll receive an email, maybe from my boss or from my manager, but then somewhere between in between what he's instructing you to do, he's calling you short guy. You know, and then you are in no position to answer back, because he is in a higher position than you.
What is the tools that you have gotten now from Nono working with you? You are going to be working soon. What are some of the things that you're going to do differently now when you're working, from the tools that you've gotten, of when people do this to you, what will you do in the future?
Okay. At first, when people used to like tease me and call me, I didn't answer. I would just keep quiet and be sad. But she has taught me to accept what they say. I should not take it like too personal or too deeply. I should just say, when they say, hey, short guy, I should say, okay, fine, I'm short, and then I love it. You know, she taught me to take what, because people will always be cruel. People won't always be nice to you. There will be people who like you, and then there will be people who don't like you. I once met a guy, and then we were like walking, and then he said, you know, you're not short, you're like down there. You're not short, you're like down there. And it really hurt me. But then if I had met that guy today,
yeah,
I would look at him and say, you're not tall, you're like up there, you know.
So you've got your comebacks now.
Yes, you need to be confident, and then take what they say to you and then just brush it off.
Because I think
you take the negative and turn it into a positive.
Yes.
Who is that who said, I mean, I saw it on Medea, but I don't know who it is that said, it's not what they call you, it's what you answer to. Thank you so much for joining us. And Svisa, thank you for your courage to tell your story. I think we've been showing it throughout the show, but people know that to contact SADAG. But thank you so much for telling your story, and thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate your time. Well, as we've heard, the effects of bullying are extensive, and it's important to value yourself. Remember, there are people to talk to, and just speaking about it can make an incredible difference. Thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye.